I steered the boat, you know. See me on that bridge? Natural. I knew I wasn't the first woman to be on that boat, and I certainly wouldn't be the last. But I knew I was with a good man. I knew that whatever happened, he wouldn't take anything from me. Oh, we sailed for miles and miles, and we talked properly, and we did an awful laugh. We liked each other, and it's funny, you know, but do you know when you're with someone who likes you, who sort of approves of you, you start to grow again, and you move in the right way, you say the right things at the right time, and you're not 18 or 42 or 64, you're just alive. And I know, if I could have seen myself on that day, I'd have said, look at that lovely woman riding on the sea. Look at that lovely woman swimming. I know I'd left me bathing costume at the hotel. Oh, so was. We parked the boat, and I looked over the side, and I said to him, how deep do you think it is here, Costas? Oh, maybe 1,000 meters, maybe 10,000 meters, who knows? Maybe so deep, it'd go on forever. Oh, and as I stood there on the edge of that boat, naked as the day I was born, about to jump into this water that was as deep as forever, I felt as strong and as excited and as bloody mad as I did when I jumped off our roof. We just laughed and splashed and swam in the water, and I knew Costas would keep his promise, but I didn't want him to. It was the most natural thing in the world. So I swam up to him, put my arms around him, and I kissed him. And that was when I nicknamed him Christopher Columbus. Well, I could easily have named him Andre Previn. I don't know where this orchestra came from. Later on, though, just lying there on the boat, watching the sun dip down towards the evening, that was when the thought first came to me. I tried to push it out my head at first, because it was too shocking. I tried to think of other things to make this thought go away, but it wouldn't. It was just there in my head. And this thought was, if, somehow, if for some reason, I didn't go back home, who would really care? I mean, would it cause anyone any real suffering? Would it damage anyone? I mean, who would miss me? Why should I go back? Go back there, go back to being that woman again, when that woman isn't needed anymore. She's done her job, she's brought up her kids. Oh, they think it was awful. They think it was terrible. Having a mother who went on holiday and never came back. But I hadn't gone round the pipe. I hadn't. And I hadn't fallen in love with Costas. Oh, it had been lovely. It had been sweet. It had been a day full of kindness. But I hadn't fallen in love with him. I'd fallen in love with the idea of living. And all through the days, and when I woke up, when I came down here with Jane, had a coffee or a drink in Costas' taverna, or lying in my bed at night just dropping off to sleep, this thought was still there in my head, this shocking thought. I'm not going back. I'm not going back. Of course, all the time I knew, really. I knew I'd have to go back in the end. I knew I was just one of millions before me who'd gone on holiday, had such a good time, they didn't want to go back home. Because, well, we don't do what we want to do. We do what we have to do and pretend that's what we want to do. And what I wanted to do was stay here. Stay here and be Shirley Valentine. And what I had to do was go back there, go back to being St. Joan of the fitted units. And every day, when I said goodbye to Costas, and on the journey to the airport, and standing there in the queue for the check-in desk, I didn't know if I was going to do what I wanted to do or what I had to do. When I was in the queue, you know, me, Jane, and all the others who had to go back home, I remember this question I was going to ask her, and I said, Jane, why is it that there's all this unused life? She said it was all because of men. It was all the fault of men. She went back to reading the magazine, and I thought about it, and I thought, that's rubbish. Because it's not just men who do it to women, because Joe, and it's the same for him. He had more life in him than he could use, and now he carries all this waste round with him. It's the same for everyone, I know it. I mean, when I was home, whenever the shops, you know, looking at people I used to grow up with, standing there in the shops buying vegetables, and we say to each other, how are you? And we say, fine. And we pretend we are, because the vegetables are fresh, or we didn't get a cold this year, or our kids grew up with all the limbs intact, never got in trouble with the police. And we say we're fine, and we go on and on and on till we die. And most of us die long before we're dead. And what kills us is this terrible weight of all this unused life we carry around with us. When I was standing there at the check-in desk, I was looking at my luggage, it had a tag on it for England, for home. I just watched it as it moved along the conveyor belt and through those flaps and disappeared into that dark hole. And I knew then, I knew I couldn't go with it. Jane just called out first as she saw me walking away, and then she knew, she realised, and she screamed at me to come back, come back! Everyone in the queue was staring at me, and I knew they all wanted me to come back, come back! But I just kept walking across the concourse. All I had left was my handbag, and clothes I stood up in Gillian's Road, my passport and a few drachmas. And when I paid my bus fare, even the drachmas had gone. As I walked up to the Savannah, I saw Costas talking to this woman sitting on a bar stool. As I walked in, I heard him say to her, "You afraid? You afraid I may try to make..." Well, that poor fella nearly dropped his olives when he saw me. "It's all right, Costas," I said. "I haven't come back for you. I've come back for the job in your taverna."